The rain hammered Seattle like bullets against my windshield as I pulled into the driveway of what used to feel like home. 9 months in Singapore, and now my own house looked like a museum exhibit. Too perfect, too staged, like someone had been playing house while the real owner was away. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. I'm Rob Dalton, 46, IT security contractor, and apparently the world's biggest fool. The smart lock recognized my thumbprint, which was a miracle considering Hannah had probably changed everything else while I was gone. The house smelled wrong. Not bad, just different. Expensive candles instead of Hannah's usual vanilla. Designer furniture where our comfortable couch used to be. Even the air felt calculated, like someone had hired an interior designer to make it look lived in. "Hannah?" I called out, dropping my bags in the foyer. No answer. The kitchen was spotless, too spotless. Hannah never cleaned this well, not even when her mother visited. I opened the fridge and found it stocked with organic everything, craft beer I'd never heard of, and a bottle of champagne with a receipt still attached. $78 for champagne on a Tuesday. My phone buzzed with a credit card alert from 3 hours ago, another champagne purchase. Same brand, different store, interesting. I found Hannah in the guest bedroom, curled up under silk sheets that definitely weren't there when I left. Her phone glowed on the nightstand, buzzing with notifications she was apparently too asleep to notice. "Hey, beautiful," I whispered, sitting on the edge of the bed. She stirred, blinking up at me with what I used to think was genuine surprise. Now it looked rehearsed. "Rob! Oh my God, you're home!" She sat up, wrapping her arms around my neck. "I missed you so much." The hug felt like hugging a stranger. Same perfume, different person. "Missed you too," I lied. "Why are you sleeping in here?" "Oh, the master bedroom's being renovated. Surprise." Her smile was Instagram perfect. I wanted everything to be perfect for when you got back. I glanced around the guest room. Fresh paint, new curtains, a jewelry box on the dresser that I'd never seen before. The kind of jewelry box someone buys when they're feeling guilty about something. "That's thoughtful," I said, standing up. "I'm pretty beat. Long flight." "Of course. Get some rest. We'll catch up tomorrow." She was already reaching for her phone before I'd even left the room. I went to my home office, the one room that looked exactly as I'd left it. My computers, my files, my life before Hannah decided to redecorate everything else. I powered up my laptop and did what any IT security expert would do when something felt off. I checked the bank statements. 9 months of charges. Restaurants I'd never heard of. A furniture rental company. Furniture rental, not purchase. Party planning services. A gym membership at some boutique fitness place downtown. Spa treatments. Hotel charges. Hotel charges. I cross-referenced the dates with my call logs. Every hotel charge coincided with a night when Hannah had been too tired to talk during our scheduled video calls. My wife, the woman who claimed to miss me desperately, had been living it up while I worked 16-hour days in Singapore to pay for our future. But the real kicker was the jewelry box receipt, buried in her personal account that I still had access to from our joint planning spreadsheet. $400 for a keepsake box. Purchased the day after I left for Singapore. I walked back to the guest room and quietly opened the jewelry box while Hannah showered. Inside, her wedding ring, a hotel keycard, and a printed photo of Hannah with some guy I'd never seen. Tall, muscular, the kind of guy who probably called himself a fitness influencer. They were kissing in what looked like a restaurant booth, Hannah wearing my old Seahawks T-shirt. My Seahawks T-shirt. The one I'd been looking for before I left for Singapore. I photographed everything with my phone, put it all back exactly as I'd found it, and returned to my office. Time to see what else my loving wife had been up to. Hannah's social media was locked down tight, but I'd set up our home network. I knew every device, every password, every digital footprint in this house. It took me about 20 minutes to access her private Instagram account, the one she thought I didn't know about. The recent posts were a masterclass in deception. Lots of "missing my husband" captions paired with photos of her looking sad and lonely. But the real story was in her close friends' stories, the ones only her inner circle could see. Hannah and Mr. Fitness influencer at their place. Hannah cooking dinner in my kitchen for someone who definitely wasn't me. Hannah at parties I'd never heard of, looking happier than she'd looked in our last 5 years of marriage. The most recent story, posted just 2 hours ago. Finally told him, time to start fresh. Told him what? My phone buzzed with a text from Hannah's business partner, Tara. So glad you're finally free. He seems perfect for you. You two looked so happy at dinner tonight. I stared at the message for a long moment, then typed back, thanks. Yeah, Rob's been really supportive through everything. 3 dots appeared immediately. Then, wait, Rob, I thought you were talking about Ethan. Ethan. So that was his name. Sorry, autocorrect. Yes, Ethan's been amazing. Good. You deserve someone who actually pays attention to you. How long has it been since Rob called? I checked my call log. I'd called Hannah 6 hours ago from the airport. He called today, actually? Weird. You said he hadn't called in weeks. Are you sure you want to wait until he gets back to tell him? I mean, you and Ethan are practically living together already. My hands were shaking as I typed, you're right. I should just get it over with. Do you want me to be there? For moral support? No, I think I need to handle this alone. Okay, but call me after. I want to hear everything. I set the phone down and walked to the window. The rain was still coming down, turning the street into a river of reflected streetlights. Somewhere out there, my wife's boyfriend was probably wondering why she hadn't come back to their place tonight. 9 months. 9 months of I love you, and I miss you, and I can't wait for you to come home. 9 months of working myself into the ground to build a future with someone who'd already moved on. But here's the thing about IT security. You learn to think 3 steps ahead of the people trying to screw you over. You learn to be patient, methodical, and absolutely thorough. Hannah thought she was playing chess while I was stuck playing checkers from 8,000 miles away. She was about to learn that I'd been playing a completely different game. I spent the night in my office, not sleeping, just planning. By morning, I had a complete picture of Hannah's new life, and it was even worse than I'd imagined. The furniture rental wasn't for our house. It was for a downtown condo she'd been splitting with Ethan. The gym membership was at his workplace, some boutique fitness studio called Core Strength. The hotel charges were from nights when they wanted to feel fancy, apparently. She'd been living a double life, funded entirely by my Singapore contract money. Hannah came down around 10, dressed for what she probably thought would be a difficult conversation. Black dress, minimal makeup, the whole "I'm about to break your heart but I am trying to be respectful" look. Rob, we need to talk. I looked up from my laptop, where I'd been reviewing our joint financial accounts. Sure. What's on your mind? She sat across from me at the kitchen island, hands folded. This is really hard to say, but I think we need to be honest about where we are. Okay. These 9 months apart, they've given me time to think. About us, about what I want from life. She paused, waiting for me to react. When I didn't, she continued. I think we've grown apart. I think maybe we want different things. Such as? I want someone who's present, someone who prioritizes our relationship, someone who... She trailed off. Someone who... what? Someone who sees me. Really sees me. I nodded slowly. And you don't think I see you? Rob, you've been gone for 9 months. Before that, you were working 60-hour weeks. When's the last time we went on a real date? When's the last time you surprised me with anything? It was a fair question. if you ignored the part where she'd been cheating on me the entire time I was working those hours to pay for her lifestyle. You're right, I said. I haven't been the most attentive husband. She looked surprised. I wasn't expecting you to agree. Well, I'm full of surprises. I closed my laptop. So what are you thinking? Marriage counseling? A trial separation? I think... She took a deep breath. I think I want a divorce. There it was, the words she'd been practicing in the mirror, probably with Ethan coaching her from the sidelines. Okay, I said, okay? If that's what you want, then okay. I won't fight you on it. She stared at me for a long moment. Just like that? Hannah, you're clearly unhappy. I don't want to trap you in a marriage you don't want to be in. I stood up. I assume you'll want to stay in the house while we figure out the details? Yes, that would be helpful. Great. I'll stay at a hotel for a few days, give you some space to think things through. I picked up my laptop. Oh, one thing. I'm going to need to cancel our joint credit cards, just temporarily, until we figure out how to split the finances. I hope that's not a problem. The color drained from her face. Cancel them? Well, yeah. I mean, we're getting divorced. We can't keep sharing accounts. I tilted my head. Unless you want to keep paying for my expenses, I've got my eye on a pretty nice hotel downtown. No, Of course. That makes sense. Perfect. I'll take care of it this afternoon. I was halfway to the stairs when she called after me. Rob? Yeah? Are you okay with this? I turned back to her, and for just a moment, I let her see exactly how not okay I was. The hurt, the anger, the betrayal, all of it, right there on my face. Then I smiled. I want you to be happy, Hannah. That's all I've ever wanted. The look of relief mixed with guilt that crossed her face told me everything I needed to know. She'd expected a fight. She'd prepared for tears, for begging, for me to promise to change. She hadn't prepared for me to make it easy. I spent the afternoon at a coffee shop downtown, systematically dismantling the financial infrastructure of Hannah's secret life. Joint credit cards, canceled. Her access to our savings account, suspended pending divorce proceedings. The automatic transfer that had been funding her personal expenses account, terminated. Then I made a few phone calls. The first was to the property management company that handled the downtown condo. I identified myself as Robert Dalton, Hannah's husband, and expressed concern about unauthorized use of our joint credit card for rental payments. Oh, Mr. Dalton, yes, your wife and her boyfriend have been model tenants. Very quiet, very clean. Her boyfriend. Oh, I'm sorry. I assumed you knew. She listed you as her emergency contact, but she's been living there with a young man. Ethan something? Right, Ethan. Yes, I know about him. Actually, that's why I'm calling. We're getting divorced, and I need to remove my financial responsibility from that lease immediately. Of course, I'll need some paperwork, but we can have that sorted by the end of the week. Perfect. And just so you know, as of today, any charges to our joint accounts are unauthorized. If they can't pay the rent themselves, they'll need to vacate. The second call was to Core Strength Fitness Studio. Hi, I'm calling about my wife's membership. Hannah Dalton? Oh yes, Hannah's great. She's here almost every day with Ethan. That's wonderful. Actually, I'm calling because we're getting divorced, and I need to cancel the automatic payments from our joint account. I'm sorry to hear that, Mr. Dalton. I'll take care of that right away. Thanks. Oh, and could you let Ethan know? I'd hate for there to be any awkward conversations about payment. Of course. The third call was to Mason, my old friend from college who'd become a private investigator after washing out of the police academy. Rob, how was Singapore? Educational. Listen, I need a favor. Professional consultation. What kind of consultation? The kind where my wife has been cheating on me for 9 months, and I want to make sure I get everything I'm entitled to in the divorce. There was a pause. Jesus, Rob, I'm sorry. Don't be sorry. Just tell me what I need to document. Everything. Financial records, evidence of the affair, any assets she might be hiding. Washington's a no-fault state, but adultery can still affect asset division if you can prove she was spending marital funds on the affair. Oh, I can prove that. Good. Email me what you have. I'll put together a proper evidence package. By 6 p.m., I was sitting in a hotel bar downtown, watching the evening news and waiting for the fireworks to begin. I didn't have to wait long. My phone rang at 6:47 p.m. Rob, what the hell did you do? Hannah's voice was shaking. I'm sorry, what do you mean? The credit cards aren't working. The bank says our accounts are frozen, and my landlord called. Your landlord? Rob, you can't just cut off all our money. Our money? Hannah, you asked for a divorce. I'm just protecting my assets until we can work out a fair division. But I can't. I need access to our accounts. For what? Silence. Hannah? For what? For normal expenses. Food, gas, utilities. The utilities at the house are still on. There's food in the fridge. What other expenses are you worried about? More silence. Look, I said, if you need help with something specific, we can discuss it. But I'm not going to keep funding a lifestyle I'm not part of. You're doing this to punish me. I'm doing this to protect myself. There's a difference. She hung up. I ordered another beer and checked my phone. 3 missed calls from Tara, Hannah's business partner, 2 text messages from numbers I didn't recognize, and 1 very interesting notification from the security system at our house. Someone had just broken the spare key lockbox by the back door. I pulled up the security camera feed on my phone and watched Ethan, tall, muscular, exactly as advertised, jimmying our back door lock while Hannah stood watch. They were inside for about 20 minutes. When they came out, Ethan was carrying a suitcase and Hannah had a garbage bag full of what looked like clothes. Moving day, apparently. I finished my beer, paid my tab, and drove to the downtown condo building. Sure enough, Hannah's BMW was in the parking garage, along with a red Mustang that probably belonged to Ethan. I parked across the street and called the building's security desk. Hi, this is Robert Dalton. I'm the emergency contact for Unit 412. I just wanted to confirm that my wife Hannah made it home safely. She seemed upset when she called earlier. Oh, yes, sir. She and the young man just went up about an hour ago. They seem to be having quite an animated discussion in the lobby. An animated discussion? Well, I don't like to eavesdrop, but the young man seemed upset about some kind of payment issue, and your wife was crying. I see. Well, as long as they're safe. Of course, sir. Have a good evening. I hung up and sat in my car, watching the lights in what I assumed was their 4th-floor window. 2 silhouettes, moving around frantically, probably trying to figure out how to pay rent without my credit cards. My phone buzzed with a text from Hannah. We need to talk. This isn't over. I typed back, You're right. It's just getting started. The next morning, I woke up in my hotel room to 17 missed calls and 43 text messages. Hannah had apparently spent the night cycling through the 5 stages of grief, with extended stops at anger and bargaining. The messages started reasonable. Rob, please call me. We can work this out. Then desperate. I know you're hurt, but this is crazy. I can't access any of our money. Then angry. This is financial abuse and you know it. And finally, threatening. I'm calling a lawyer. You can't just steal all our assets. I was reading through them over coffee when my phone rang. Unknown number. Mr. Dalton, this is Ethan Grant. I think we need to talk. Ethan, the boyfriend. This should be interesting. Sure, Ethan. What's on your mind? Look, man, I don't know what kind of game you're playing, but you need to stop hurting Hannah. I'm not hurting Hannah. I'm getting divorced from Hannah. There's a difference. You cut off all her money. She can't even buy groceries. She can buy groceries. She just can't buy them with my credit cards anymore. That's not... Look, she loves you, okay? She's just confused right now. You being vindictive isn't helping anyone. I almost laughed. She loves me? Yes. She talks about you all the time. She feels terrible about asking for the divorce. Ethan, can I ask you something? What? How long have you and Hannah been sleeping together? Silence. Because I have credit card receipts going back 8 months. Hotel rooms, dinners, that condo you're living in. So when you tell me she loves me, I'm having trouble reconciling that with the evidence. It's complicated. No, it's really not. She's been cheating on me while I worked in Singapore to pay for her lifestyle. Now she wants a divorce so she can be with you. The only complicated part is that she expected me to keep funding it. She didn't mean for it to happen this way. I'm sure she didn't. I'm also sure that's not my problem anymore. I hung up and finished my coffee. Time for phase 2. I drove to Hannah's interior design studio, a trendy little place in Capitol Hill that she'd opened with Tara 2 years ago. Hannah's BMW was already in the parking lot, which meant she was probably inside crying to Tara about her terrible husband. I walked in like I owned the place. Rob! Tara looked up from her desk, clearly flustered. I didn't expect to see you here. Hi, Tara. Is Hannah around? She's in the back office. Rob, maybe you should call first next time. Why? This is still partially my business, isn't it? I mean, I did provide the startup capital. Tara's face went pale. That was a loan. Was it? I don't remember signing any loan paperwork. I remember writing a check to help my wife start her dream business. Hannah emerged from the back office, eyes red from crying. Rob, what are you doing here? I came to discuss our business assets. For the divorce. This isn't your business. Actually, it is. 50% of it, according to Washington State community property law. I pulled out my phone and showed her a screenshot of the bank transfer. $47,000 transferred from our joint savings account to Tara and Hannah Designs LLC. No loan agreement, no repayment schedule, no interest rate. That was between us, Hannah said. No, that was between me and you. Tara just benefited from it. I looked around the studio. Nice place, good location. I bet it's worth quite a bit more than $47,000 now. What do you want? Tara asked. I want a fair accounting of the business assets, and I want Hannah to understand that her financial situation is a lot more complicated than she thinks. Hannah was staring at me like she'd never seen me before. You're not the man I married. You're right. The man you married was a pushover who worked himself into the ground while his wife cheated on him. Consider this my resignation from that position. I turned to leave, then stopped. Oh, Hannah, you might want to check your personal email. Your gym membership was canceled this morning. Something about insufficient funds. The drive back to my hotel was therapeutic. For 9 months, I'd been the absent husband, the workaholic, the man who didn't appreciate what he had. Now I was the one with all the cards, and Hannah was learning what it felt like to be powerless. My phone rang as I pulled into the hotel parking lot. Mason. Rob, I've been going through the evidence you sent me. This is a gold mine. Good gold mine or bad gold mine? Good for you, catastrophic for her. She's been spending marital assets on an extramarital affair for 8 months. Hotels, restaurants, rent for a love nest, even a gym membership at her boyfriend's workplace. Any decent divorce attorney will have a field day with this. What's my exposure? Minimal. You were working under contract. All your income is documented and legitimate. She's the one who's been hiding assets and relationships. If anything, you might be entitled to reimbursement for the money she spent on the affair. How much are we talking about? Conservatively, $30,000 to $40,000, maybe more if we can prove the business investment was meant to benefit her relationship with the boyfriend. The business investment? Yeah, about that. I did some digging on Ethan Grant. Guess who's listed as a fitness consultant for Tara and Hannah Designs? You're kidding. Nope. Looks like they hired him to help with corporate wellness initiatives for their clients at $200 an hour. I sat in my car, staring at the hotel entrance. She used our money to give her boyfriend a job. That's what it looks like. And Rob, there's more. Ethan's got some financial problems. credit card debt, a car loan he's behind on, and he just got evicted from his last apartment. Looks like your wife wasn't just cheating on you, she was supporting him. Send me everything you have. Already in your email. Rob, be careful. People do stupid things when they're desperate, and you just made them very desperate. I hung up and checked my email. Mason had been thorough. Credit reports, employment records, even social media screenshots showing Hannah and Ethan at expensive restaurants that I'd unknowingly paid for. The most interesting document was Ethan's employment contract with Hannah's business, $200 an hour for fitness consulting and corporate wellness coordination. He'd been paid over $12,000 in the last 6 months, $12,000 of my money, funneled through Hannah's business to her boyfriend. I was forwarding the documents to my lawyer when someone knocked on my car window. Ethan, looking considerably less confident than he had in the Instagram photos. I rolled down the window. Can I help you? We need to talk. I thought we already did that. Not on the phone, face to face. He was trying to look intimidating, but it's hard to be intimidating when you're begging someone to restore your girlfriend's credit cards. Okay, talk. Hannah's a mess. She's been crying all day. This isn't about you and me. This is about you hurting someone you're supposed to love. I loved someone. Past tense. The woman I loved didn't exist. She was a character Hannah played while she was spending my money on you. It wasn't like that. What was it like? He shifted uncomfortably. She was lonely. You were never here. She needed someone who actually cared about her. Someone who cared so much he let her pay for everything? I didn't ask her to pay for anything. No, you just happened to get a $12,000 consulting job with her business. What exactly do you consult on, Ethan? The best way to cheat on your husband? His face flushed red. You don't know anything about us. I know you're about to be homeless again. I know you're behind on your car payments. I know Hannah's been your meal ticket for 8 months, and now the gravy train has stopped. You think this is about money? I think everything's about money when you don't have any. He stepped closer to the car. Hannah loves me. We're going to figure this out. Good luck with that. But just so we're clear, I'm not your ATM anymore. Whatever you and Hannah figure out, it's going to be with your money, not mine. I started to roll up the window, but he grabbed the glass. This isn't over. You're right. It's not. It's going to get much worse before it gets better, for you. I drove away, leaving him standing in the parking lot. In my rearview mirror, I could see him on his phone, probably calling Hannah to report that her husband had officially declared war. Good. I was tired of being the only one who didn't know we were fighting. The next few days were a masterclass in watching someone's life unravel in real time. Hannah had apparently decided that if she couldn't have access to our money, she'd try to turn our mutual friends against me. It backfired spectacularly. The first casualty was our couple friends, Mike and Jennifer Chen, who invited me to dinner to talk things through. They'd clearly been expecting the old Rob, apologetic, willing to take blame, eager to fix things. They got the new Rob instead. So Hannah says you've been having problems for a while, Jennifer said carefully, passing me the salad bowl. Have we? That's news to me. She says you've been distant, working too much, not prioritizing the relationship. I was in Singapore for 9 months, working 16-hour days to pay off our debt and build our savings. If that's not prioritizing our relationship, I'm not sure what is. Mike cleared his throat. Maybe she needed more emotional support? She had emotional support. His name is Ethan, and I've been paying for it. The silence that followed was deafening. You know about Ethan? Jennifer asked quietly. I know about the 8 months of hotel bills. I know about the condo I've been renting for them. I know about the $12,000 she funneled to him through her business. I took a bite of salad. What I don't know is why my friends are lecturing me about prioritizing a relationship with someone who's been cheating on me. We didn't know, Mike said quickly. But you knew something. Hannah doesn't confide in people unless she needs something from them. What did she ask you to do? Jennifer and Mike exchanged glances. She wanted us to talk to you, Jennifer admitted, to help you understand her perspective. And what perspective is that? That she made a mistake, but she loves you, and maybe you could work things out. I laughed. Actually laughed. She loves me so much, she moved in with another man. She loves me so much, she's been lying to me for 8 months. She loves me so much, she asked for a divorce. People make mistakes when they're unhappy, Jennifer said. People make choices when they're selfish. There's a difference. I finished my salad and stood up. Thanks for dinner, and thanks for showing me where you stand. Rob, wait. No, it's fine. I understand. Hannah got to you first, told you her version of the story, the version where she's the victim and I'm the neglectful husband, but here's the thing. Victims don't rent secret apartments for their boyfriends. I left them sitting at their dinner table, probably wondering how they'd misjudged the situation so badly. The second casualty was Hannah's book club, which apparently doubled as her support group and strategic planning committee. I learned about this when Sarah Williams, the book club organizer, called me directly. Rob, I think there's been some miscommunication. About what? About Hannah's situation. She's been telling us that you abandoned her, that you're being financially abusive, that she's afraid of you. Afraid of me? She says you've been threatening her, that you're trying to control her through money. I was quiet for a long moment. Sarah, can I ask you something? Sure. If your husband was working overseas and you started an affair, and you used his credit cards to pay for hotels and apartments for your boyfriend, and then your husband found out and canceled the credit cards, would that be financial abuse? What? Because that's what happened. Hannah's been cheating on me for 8 months. I have documentation, credit card statements, hotel receipts, rental agreements. She's not afraid of me. She's afraid of losing her funding. Oh my God, Rob, I had no idea. Of course you didn't. Hannah's very good at playing the victim, but I'm curious, what exactly did she want you to do? She wanted us to call you, to tell you that you were being unreasonable, that she deserved access to your joint accounts during the divorce. Even though she's living with another man? We didn't know about that part. Now you do. The question is, what are you going to do with that information? Sarah was quiet for a moment. I think we owe you an apology. You don't owe me anything, but you might want to reconsider your friendship with someone who lies that easily. The third casualty was the biggest one, Tara. I was having coffee at a place near their studio when I saw her come in, looking frazzled and exhausted. She ordered something complicated and expensive, then sat down at a table near mine. I waited until she'd taken her first sip, then walked over. Mind if I join you? She looked up, startled. Rob, I don't think that's a good idea. Why not? We're business partners now. We're not business partners. Sure we are. I own 50% of your company, remember? I sat down across from her. How's business? Look, whatever you're planning, leave me out of it. This is between you and Hannah. Is it? Because my money funded your business. My money paid Ethan's consulting fees. My money has been subsidizing your success for 2 years. The business loan, there was no loan. There was a gift from a husband to his wife, a gift that's now community property in a divorce proceeding. Tara's face went white. You can't just take half our business. I can't? Watch me. I pulled out my phone and showed her a document. That's a formal business valuation request. As of Monday, we'll know exactly what Tara and Hannah Designs is worth. Then we'll know exactly what 50% comes to. This is insane. You're destroying Hannah's life over a mistake. A mistake? Tara, she's been cheating on me for 8 months. She moved in with another man. She used our money to give him a job. That's not a mistake. That's a lifestyle choice. She loves you. No, she doesn't. And you know she doesn't because you've been helping her lie to me. Tara started to protest, but I held up my hand. I know about the Instagram posts. I know about the fake missing my husband photos. I know you helped her create a whole fictional narrative while she was living with Ethan. She was confused. She was calculating, and so were you. You got a business partner and cheap labor out of the deal. Ethan got a job and a sugar mama. Hannah got her cake and got to eat it too. The only person who got screwed was me. I stood up. But here's the thing, Tara. I'm not getting screwed anymore. As of Monday, I'm going to own half your business. I'm going to have a say in every decision, every hire, every expenditure, including Ethan's consulting contract. You can't fire Ethan. He has a contract. I can't fire him, but I can vote to terminate his contract. And since I'll own 50% of the business, and Hannah will be too busy dealing with divorce proceedings to focus on business decisions, I think I'll have quite a bit of influence. I left her sitting at the table, staring into her overpriced coffee like it might contain answers. That evening, I was back in my hotel room when Mason called. Rob, you need to be careful. I've been hearing things. What kind of things? Hannah's been telling people you're dangerous, that she's afraid of you, that you've been making threats. I haven't threatened anyone. I know that, but she's building a narrative. And Ethan's been asking around about you, where you're staying, what your schedule looks like. Let him ask. I'm not hiding. Maybe you should be. Desperate people do desperate things, and you just made them very desperate. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that maybe it's time to end this. You've made your point. You've got everything you need for the divorce. Maybe it's time to back off before someone gets hurt. I thought about that. About Hannah crying in her business office. About Ethan standing in the parking lot, looking lost and angry. About Tara realizing that her business was about to become a battleground. No, I said finally. No. They had 8 months to think about consequences. 8 months to consider how their choices might affect other people. 8 months to be honest with me. Rob, I'm not backing off, Mason. I'm just getting started. I hung up and walked to the hotel window. Somewhere out there, Hannah and Ethan were probably planning their next move, trying to figure out how to turn this situation to their advantage. They were about to learn that some games have only one winner. And I'd been playing to win since the moment I found that hotel keycard in Hannah's jewelry box. The confrontation I'd been expecting came on a Thursday morning at Pike Place Market. I was buying coffee from my usual vendor when I spotted them. Hannah, Ethan, and Tara huddled together at a table near the flower stalls. They were planning something. I could tell by their body language, the way Hannah kept gesturing, the way Ethan kept shaking his head, the way Tara kept looking around nervously. I bought my coffee and walked over. Morning, everyone. Planning something fun? Hannah looked up, and for the first time since this whole thing started, I saw real hatred in her eyes. Not hurt, not confusion. Pure, undiluted hate. We need to talk, she said. We're talking. Privately. I don't think that's a good idea. Tara and Ethan are stakeholders in this conversation. Tara's my business partner, and Ethan's been living off my money for 8 months. Stop saying that, Ethan snapped. I never asked for your money. No, you just took it. There's a difference. Hannah stood up. Enough. Rob, you've made your point. You're angry, I get it. But this has gone too far. Has it? Because from where I'm standing, this is just getting started. You're destroying my life. I'm not destroying anything. I'm just not funding it anymore. The business, the apartment, my friendships, you're systematically destroying everything I care about. Everything you care about was built on lies. I'm just removing the foundation. Tara cleared her throat. Rob, maybe we can work something out. About the business, I mean. I'm listening. What if we bought out your stake, paid you back the initial investment plus interest? With what money? Hannah can't even pay her rent anymore. We could get a loan. Based on what collateral? Hannah's about to lose half her assets in the divorce, and you don't have anything worth borrowing against. There has to be something, Hannah said desperately. Some way to fix this. I looked at her, really looked at her. The woman I'd loved for 7 years, the woman I'd worked myself into the ground trying to provide for, the woman who'd thrown it all away for a fitness instructor with abs and no prospects. You want to fix this? I asked. Yes. Okay. Here's how you fix it. You give me a complete accounting of every dollar you spent on your affair. Every hotel room, every dinner, every gift, every payment to Ethan. You liquidate whatever assets you have and pay me back. You sign over your stake in the business to cover the rest, and then you disappear from my life forever. That's everything I have, she whispered. That's everything I had too. The difference is I earned it. Ethan stood up abruptly. This is bullshit. You can't just destroy someone's life because your feelings got hurt. My feelings got hurt? Ethan, she stole from me. For 8 months, she systematically stole money from our joint accounts to fund your relationship. That's not hurt feelings. That's theft. She's your wife. She was my wife. Now she's just someone who owes me money. You're a piece of shit, you know that? I smiled. Maybe. But I'm a piece of shit with good lawyers and detailed financial records. What are you? He stepped closer, and for a moment, I thought he might actually take a swing at me. Part of me hoped he would. It would make the rest of this so much easier. But Tara grabbed his arm. Don't. He's not worth it. You're right, I said. I'm not worth it. But my money was worth 8 months of your time, wasn't it, Ethan? He shook off Tara's hand and stalked away, pushing through the crowd of tourists and vendors. Hannah started to follow him, then stopped. This isn't over, she said. Yes, it is. You just don't know it yet. She left, leaving Tara and me alone at the table. You really hate her, don't you? Tara said quietly. No, I don't hate her. I just don't love her anymore, and I don't owe her anything. What about forgiveness? What about it? Don't you think she deserves a chance to make things right? I considered that. Tara, let me ask you something. If you found out your husband had been cheating on you for 8 months, spending your money on his girlfriend, lying to your face every single day, would you forgive him? She was quiet for a long moment. I don't know. I do. You'd hire the best divorce lawyer you could find and take him for everything he was worth. The only difference between you and me is that I'm better at it than you'd be. So what happens now? Now you decide whether you want to try to save your business or go down with Hannah's ship. What do you mean? I mean, I'm going to own 50% of your company by the end of the month. You can work with me, or you can fight me. But either way, I'm going to get what I'm owed. I left her sitting there and walked back through the market. The morning crowd was getting thicker. Tourists taking pictures, vendors hawking their wares, the usual chaos of Seattle commerce. My phone buzzed with a text from Mason. We need to meet. Something's happened. I called him back. What's wrong? Not on the phone. Can you meet me at my office? On my way. Mason's office was in a converted warehouse in Georgetown, the kind of place that looked like it might house anything from a tech startup to a meth lab. I found him waiting in the parking lot, smoking a cigarette and looking nervous. You need to see this, he said, handing me a manila folder. Inside were photographs. Hannah and Ethan at what looked like a lawyer's office. Hannah signing papers, Ethan talking to someone I didn't recognize. When were these taken? Yesterday. After your little scene at the market, they went straight to a law firm downtown. So? Hannah needs a divorce lawyer. That's not a divorce lawyer, that's a criminal attorney. I looked at the photos again. Criminal? They're claiming you threatened them. Harassment, stalking, financial coercion. They're trying to get a restraining order. Based on what? Based on witnesses who'll say you've been following them, confronting them in public, making threats. What witnesses? Tara, for one. Probably some of Hannah's friends. Maybe some people from the market who saw your conversation this morning. I handed the folder back to him. Let them try. Rob, this is serious. If they get a restraining order, you'll have to stay away from the business, away from Hannah, away from anywhere they might be. It'll look bad in the divorce proceedings. It'll look worse for them when I produce 8 months of evidence that Hannah's been committing adultery and financial fraud. That's not how this works. In the court of public opinion, you're the angry husband who's harassing his estranged wife and her boyfriend. They're the victims. I thought about that. About Hannah's tears at the market. About Ethan's righteous anger. About Tara's nervous glances. They were rewriting the narrative. Again. What do you suggest? Back off. Let your divorce lawyer handle everything. Stop the public confrontations. Stop the financial pressure. Stop trying to destroy them personally. And let them get away with it? Let the legal system handle it. You'll get your money back, you'll get your divorce, and you'll move on with your life. I looked at the photos again. Hannah looked confident, determined. Ethan looked relieved. They thought they'd found a way to turn this around, to make me the villain in their story. No, I said finally. No? I'm not backing off, and I'm not letting them rewrite history. Rob, if you keep pushing this, someone's going to get hurt. Someone already did get hurt. Me. For 8 months, while I was working my ass off in Singapore, thinking I had a wife who loved me and missed me. This isn't about justice anymore. This is about revenge. You're damn right it is. I handed him back the folder and walked toward my car. Rob, he called after me. What are you going to do? I turned back to him. I'm going to finish what they started. And then what? Then I'm going to watch them try to rebuild their lives without my money. I drove back downtown, my mind racing. Hannah and Ethan thought they could play the victim card, turn this into a story about an abusive husband harassing his poor, innocent wife. They were about to learn that I'd been documenting everything from the beginning. Every conversation, every confrontation, every financial transaction. And unlike them, I had nothing to hide. The final act was about to begin, and this time, I was going to make sure everyone knew exactly who the real victims were. By the time I finished, Hannah and Ethan wouldn't just be broke, they'd be exposed. Publicly, completely, and permanently. Some lessons are worth teaching, even when they destroy everything in the process.